What's up everyone, Maki here with an overview video for the ICEY DLC. Now recently I did an impressions review for this game, so if you ended up not checking that out, you can end up checking out my full impressions review for my opinions and basically everything about the game that we can possibly look at. And so if you don't know about ICEY, it's basically a 2D action game with a meta story, yada yada. Check out review for more info. However, they released a DLC slash free update. Now it's not necessarily DLC, it's just kind of advertised as DLC, but it installs with the game and everything like that, so you don't have to worry about installing anything extra. It's basically just a free update, and it's actually kind of cool. It doesn't add a lot, it doesn't really change my opinion and impressions, but I thought it was worth looking at anyways, as we can do a sort of update, because there are a few things I didn't get to mention. Now let's go ahead and look at the first major thing. Now English voice acting is out, and so basically there is an announcer. He sounds more like an announcer and everything that talk about it in a second, but there's also French as well, so if you want to play in French, there you go. So that's actually pretty cool. More languages is always more awesome. Everything else is exactly the same for the options, but let's go ahead and continue into my save here. Now I'm in the new area, but I'm going to go ahead and show off the English voice acting, and I don't necessarily like the English voice acting as much as the original guy did it, because I feel like he's a little bit more of an announcer.
ICEY has left the laboratory. She understands that as long as she follows the arrow, she will discover where Judas is hiding.
So yeah, the English voice actor is a little bit more like an announcer than I would like. It's not bad, and when he gets into the emotional stuff, it does sound okay, but I like the original guy a little bit more, but the English voice acting definitely helps gameplay wise when you end up being in these sort of action battles and everything like that. It does end up helping to be able to understand it from hearing it rather than having to read it. However, I don't feel like it has the same emotion, in my opinion, so that's a little bit disappointing. So yeah, that's basically my complaint there. It's not bad, and he does a good job, and it sounds clear and everything like that, so that's good. So for people who want English voice acting, it's in the game now, which is super awesome. Now let's go ahead and talk about the DLC stuff. Go ahead and go into, is it entrance or transfer? I think it's entrance. And then we're able to go back here, and basically there's this hallway or alleyway that wasn't accessible before, and now you're able to go into it, and this is the actual content of the DLC. Now there's some other story bits I won't talk about, but essentially it is a wave-based mode. You can see my top score there. None of my friends have played this yet, god damn it. I want to beat them because it's awesome. But anyways, so basically the DLC is this sort of wave-based mode. So you go into this alleyway and you're basically just traveling through the alleyway and fighting constant enemies, and this actually adds a fair amount of content to the game, as in a few hours of gameplay, because basically this is a lot of waves of stuff, and it is fairly challenging as well. That said, you're not really getting story in between it. There's not a lot of meta elements to this content. However, it is extremely fun. So if you like the gameplay, it definitely adds a lot of that. This is a wave-based mode to where basically there's going to be a bunch of these smaller guys, but it's also going to start spawning the larger guys. You end up fighting bosses, multiple bosses at once. Later on, you end up fighting the final boss combined with another boss, and you're just like, all right, well, this is ridiculous now. So, you know, it is fairly fun. It is incredibly fun. However, it is only as fun as the original game was, and the reason I kind of want to bring this up is because it doesn't really change my impressions of the game. At this point in me playing, I'm still sort of getting bored of the combat. I enjoy it. It's really, really fun, and it's fun to play for a little bit, but the thing is, after one of these waves, I'm like, all right, I'm done, because, you know, I've already played the game for as much as I'd rate it for. Now, some people on the forums and, you know, communities for the game have been mentioning that the game is a bit longer than I kind of rated it for in my review. So as a kind of follow up on that, some people have been rating it 6 to 8 hours, to whereas I rated it 4 to 5, or a little bit more depending on your skill level. And so basically some people have been saying that it can take you a little bit longer to finish all the content. Now there is one of the endings I wasn't able to get yet, and so basically that ending could end up lasting 2.5 hours for all I know, but for the most part, this will definitely add more content, and since it is free, it is literally just more content to the game, and so there's literally no downside to it. So it's not like you have to pay for this or anything like that, and it's great to see them continuing support for the game, because I do actually like it quite a bit. I think it's really, really fun. And it is a game to where at this point in my kind of playthrough of it, I'm kind of bored of the combat because there's not all that much variety, and this DLC doesn't help with that. However, it does add content for people who wanted more content, and it's mostly kind of one of those things for people who are already following the game. And, you know, it's called UCEY's Awakening, which is fairly interesting if you've actually played through the game, because you get a few bits about UCEY, so that's actually pretty cool. So yeah, basically that's all I've got for this. This is what you see in the background is basically what you're going to get. You're going to be in these alleyways and fight it. It does change up with the backgrounds a little bit, but for the most part it is this wave-based mode, and it is fairly fun. The extra story bits are a little bit more interesting, but there's not particularly a lot of it. It definitely doesn't kind of answer as many questions as I wish was answered. But I am kind of looking at this and maybe being like, all right, well, maybe they're continuing, support for the game, and then sooner or later I'll get more and more answers as the game progresses. But it definitely is a game focused on its gameplay more so than its story, and this DLC definitely emphasizes that as well. It is incredibly fun though, so do end up checking out my impressions review if you don't know anything about the game. Otherwise, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more content like this one. We've been checking out the ICEY DLC thing. That's technically just a free update, but they advertise it as a DLC, which is very, very strange. Also, this is a sort of pilot in a way. I've been doing overview videos for a while now, and so basically I'm making an official series, an official critical series, and I'm basically going to be doing follow-ups, DLC looks, and very small basic kind of port stuff. So let's say there's a game that's a port, just came out, and people want to know about the info for it, whether it's good or not, and I don't have time to do like a full review, then I'm basically going to be doing an overview video. So basically more critical content, and this will be coming out whenever. So make sure to give me your thoughts and everything that you think should be included in this series. Otherwise, that's basically going to be me. What are your guys' thoughts on ICEY? I know that my review is out, so you could end up checking that out and everything like that, but the content on the DLC definitely just adds to it, another few hours to the gameplay, which is definitely nice. But overall, it's not going to change my impressions of the game. They didn't really change anything mechanically, and I really, really wish that, I don't know, I just want another game in this style because it's really, really fun. I do enjoy it. I am getting somewhat bored of the combat, but that's kind of the way it goes. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll see you guys in the next video.